Hi, Sally Walker here, your hormone and slow age expert. Let's talk chronic inflammation. Let's talk omega-6 fatty acids and their role in chronic inflammation. Okay, so chronic inflammation, what is that? Well, it is a inflammatory state which has gone through its acute phase as such. It's not acute anymore. So if you think of a sprained ankle, I think this is a good description, where we suddenly, because we make a wrong move on our ankle, we twist it or whatever you want to call it, we suddenly get this explosion of fluid, possibly blood, down by the ankle. So it swells up, it becomes hot, it becomes red, maybe black and blue if little blood vessels have broken. It hurts, doesn't it? We don't want to stand on it, we don't want to bend it, etc., etc. That is acute inflammation. So imagine that becoming chronic, so it doesn't resolve. So if we look after our ankle, we tape it up, we put it up, we cool it down, we do all this kind of thing, we don't stand on it, then gradually the inflammation will decrease, all those symptoms will eventually disappear, and we have resolved the inflammation. But if that doesn't happen, and this inflammatory state continues, then we progress into what we call a chronic inflammation. Now, chronic inflammation is something which can happen anywhere in the body, inside the body, and then we possibly are not aware that we have it. So it's kind of silent. We're not aware that the pain possibly we're feeling is because of this inflammation, or possibly there is no pain and we can't see that it's swollen, we can't feel that it's swollen, we can't see it's red, and we're not aware of the dysfunction in the tissue as well. So it's silent, it's chronic, and chronic silent inflammation is actually the root cause of most disease states, and it's a slow thing. It's not the violent inflammation that comes from, like, when you sprain your ankle. This is a slow, gradual, it just gets worse day to day. So this is something that we need to address. We need to be very aware that we could have a chronic silent inflammation in the body somewhere. So we need to be doing things in our daily life, our lifestyle habits, which could address a possible silent inflammation and also prevent it. So one of the important things here, so there's an article in the blog called Chronic Silent Inflammation with a long detailed list of things that you'd like to do, but I would like to just bring out the omega-6 fatty acids, because there's more and more information gathering about these fatty acids that are indicating that we really need to avoid eating these things, because this is where we get the omega-6 fatty acids. So let's just start with what are omega-6 fatty acids. So omega-6 fatty acids are the polyunsaturated fatty acids, and these are very unstable, and they are also essential, which means that we don't make them in our bodies, so we have to eat them. Now, omega-6 fatty acids are responsible for creating inflammation. So they help the cells, or make these inflammatory molecules which create inflammation. So they create the redness and the swelling and the pain and the heat and all this kind of thing. Yeah, it's ourselves making these symptoms from the inside. Yeah. Okay, so that's what omega-6 fatty acids do. And a little bit is really important, because we have to be able to create an inflammation. It's very important for our immune system, but we don't want too much of it. And another thing they're also responsible for is actually blood clotting, which is also very, very important, because if we cut ourselves, then we need to be able to clot the blood so we don't bleed to death. Yeah. So both functions are life essential. Remember that. A little bit of omega-6 is very important. But too much of this is going to lead to chronic inflammation, is going to lead to chronic blood clotting, and neither of which are very good or very healthy for us. So we need to be aware of how much omega-6 that we're getting. So these fatty acids are very unstable. They become harsh very, very easily. They oxidize, they become free radical very, very easily. So we'll get back to that. But we just need to talk about the other fatty acid called omega-3, and omega-3s are also polyunsaturated fatty acids. They're also very unstable, so we have to be very careful with them so we don't create too many free radicals, etc. But the omega-3s are responsible for the opposite action. They decrease inflammation and they also stop blood clotting. So also very, very important, so we can control inflammation and control blood clotting. So we need a balance here between the omega-3s and the omega-6. Okay, now omega-3s are also essential. We have to eat those as well. So where we find these fatty acids in our diet, so the omega-6 fatty acids are primarily found in plant foods, and these are the things like the seeds and the seed oils. And many of these oils are already harsh. They're filled with oxidated oils because in the process of getting the oil out of the seed, there's the heat is used and all kinds of chemicals are used. So these oils very often are very bad already before we even start using the damn thing. With omega-3 fatty acids, the anti-inflammatory ones are only found in fish oils. That's why we call them fish oils. But they will also be found in algae. So those of you that are possibly vegan or vegetarian that prefer to have it from a plant source, it's the microalgae, which also would contain lots of these, what we call fish oils, DHA and EPA, which are essential for to control the omega-6 inflammatory creating oils. Okay, so you need to watch your seed oils. So there's some science out there telling us that omega-6 fatty acids may actually be considered as being a metabolic poison because they limit the function of your mitochondria. So the mitochondria are these little power plants, they're the little energy production plants in your cells. So your cells have lots of these mitochondria, it's not just one, and muscle cells have loads, for example, and they will create ATP, the energy molecule. So, but if we have too much omega-6 fatty acids, they don't function properly. This is something new that's been established. So we need to be very, very careful of getting too much of these omega-6 fatty acids, okay? Now, there's a lot of talk about, oh, you just got to have lots more of the omega-3 fatty acids. Yes, I do believe many people do need to have much more of the anti-inflammatory EPAs and DHAs. I do believe this, and most people should be doing this. And in the article, you'll see the oil which I recommend, which is a very good fish oil, in every single way. So have a little look at that article and you'll see the link to Ecology, as it's called, and it's called Pure Arctic Oil. Or if you would like the microalgae, they make also an oil from there, and it's called Pure Vegan Oil. Okay, but what is also is so important, and I can't stress this enough, is you've got to stop getting all the omega-6s. Okay, because otherwise you're never going to win the battle. You're going to be just drinking more and more and more fish oils or algae oils. But if you stop taking all the omega-6 fatty acids, then you will decrease the need to have excess omega-3s, okay? You're never going to be free from taking the omega-3 fatty acids because they are also essential. We can't make them. So you're always going to have to take some omega-3 fatty acids, absolutely. But you can decrease the amount that you need if you stop eating the seeds and the seed oils. Okay, that is so important. Controlling or having less of chronic inflammation in 2002. Make this your number one priority, because with less inflammation, everything functions better. Everything. Happy hormones, happy life.